Yo, appreciate you guys for subscribing to us, following us on YouTube and Spotify. Married couple. This second part. The first part was with Royal. This part is with Royal and his wife. Holla at us, Big Zo Podcast everywhere, Spotify and YouTube. Let's get started. Big
Yo,
Zo's.
yo, Miss Omi, welcome to the Big Zo podcast. I go by the name of Berto,
It's your boy Beast on the beat.
and we got a special guest. If you guys haven't seen or heard the part one of this podcast, it's called Married Men. The homie Royal is here with his lovely wife. We're gonna do a part two. So how you guys doing, Mrs. and Mr. Royal?
Flush.
Making it.
Making it during the
Barely.
corona?
We getting there. We getting there. Or we trying to anyway.
Who do
How
we
you doing,
got in front of us, man? That's Lil Lex.
Little man?
Oh yeah. It's the boy
That's young
Lex.
Kobe? Future Kobe?
Boy, stop. You better be glad I got these AirPods in so he can't hear you. You would have started crying.
Hey, Miami
I mean, you
all
want-
the way.
you
Hey,
know it.
you want your son to be a champion, so it got to be future Kobe.
Miami.
Or he could be Wade.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. I thought you about to say else, but that's a good one.
He already a Dolphin, so we good there.
Whoa.
Oh, so- damn,
We
that
already
mean
know
you got-
Whoa.
there's
I
a
mean, you
losing
guys are not
mentality.
winners. Then.
There's a
Hey,
losing
hey.
mentality. That's a losing mentality.
Hey guys.
Miami Heat.
Yeah,
Dolphins
exactly.
too.
Anyway, let's get started with this podcast before we get distracted. Anyway, man. So like we said on the first podcast, the first part one, we were talking about how does it feel to be married, and that's the question we asked you, Royal, and you answered it. So since we have Mrs. Royal, how do you feel to be married?
I feel great. It's hard at times, but it's rewarding.
So what would you say is like the toughest, like I guess the toughest thing about being married?
Well, since I'm an only child, I guess the toughest part starting off with sharing. But like as time goes on, things get easier.
True.
So my question is, we're gonna take it back to when you first met Royal. You
I'm
know,
sure you told the story.
Did he? I'm not sure. No, he told her about the day I got married. He told us that story. But knowing Royal personality, like, you know what I'm saying? How was it? Like, how'd you deal with him? Like,
It's not how did I deal with him, it's how am I dealing every day. Like it's a constant. But he also has to deal with me. So it's like you give me bad, I give you bad. You make it easy for me, I make it easy for you. But I mean every day ain't gonna be 50-50.
all right,
Sometimes I got to take more, he got to take more.
another thing I want to jump into is the baby mama situation. Like, especially before marriage, you not having no kids prior. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what was your mentality at that point? Because to me, she's a
Very
nasty.
easy.
She's a nasty baby mama in my case.
Damn, you gonna put her out like that, the baby mama?
Listen,
Hey, we got love for all the baby
It's
mamas.
look here.
It's very
You're right.
simple. Stay in your lane. I knew my lane. I stayed there, and I continue to stay there.
But I'm saying
So-
it didn't scare you in no way or fashion because, like,
No, I have nothing to be scared of.
So is it a situation that like anything that happens, like you and Royal don't talk together, or you just let Royal handle his situation with his baby mama alone?
We talk about it, but I have no foot.
So it's
Like-
none of your business, pretty much. It's basically let him handle it.
Pretty kinda, but not really. Like, of course, you're gonna have to talk to me. Of course, we have to talk things out. Maybe I can help you see a different side of something, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that's his decision.
Why you think like as far as marriages, like why you think that like a lot of marriages don't really last? Because it's a high divorce. Marriage is like a high divorce rate nowadays.
Because it's so hard. Like, people don't communicate. Every time something goes wrong, people ready to jump ship. So that's part of it. Social media is another part of it.
Well, my thing is like before you buy a car, right? You're gonna test drive the car, and just in the same perspective, like before you get into marriage, you guys date, so you guys work on these stuff to get into to get into the marriage. But I remember Roy was saying that every day is a new challenge, and sometimes people peel back another layer of themselves once they get married. Like, what's your perception of that, or how do you see that?
Well, to use your test drive a car analogy, yeah, we test drive the car, but even after you get the car, you got to do maintenance on it. Something could happen out the blue. You still got to work on that. So you don't go get a new car just because your tire flat. You put air in that tire and see what's gonna happen next.
I mean, yeah, but I also feel like people marriage are like buy here and pay here. Like they get a car and they have so much other problems before they even, you know what I'm saying? Like when they was in a relationship, it was great. Like they dated for like 6, 7 years, and that relationship was great. But once they get married, it's like they have so much other problems, and most people get divorced. Most people they become violent in those relationships. So it's like I don't understand it, and it scares me. I tell Roy all the time. I try to look at y'all relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, y'all make it work in my eyes.
We make it look easy.
Right.
Because
You know what I'm
the question
saying?
is, the question as a dude is like us as dudes, like we hear from other like guys or men that are married. They say like the one thing they always say is like when you get married, things change, and that's the thing that kind of like I mean I don't want to speak for Beast, but I'm gonna speak for myself. That's the thing that kind of like I'm afraid of, like how you meet someone, you date someone for a few years, then everybody like say when you become married or when you get married, the other person change. So that's the thing. I guess us as guys we're afraid of.
Well, let me ask you this: what's the best thing about marriage? Not per se in your situation, but what's your view on the best thing about marriage?
This the only situation that she got to go by, Beast. She only knows about this.
I mean, yeah,
Well, her
but
parents.
I mean, yeah, her parents and other relationship. Like, what do you think is the best thing that you grasp?
Just a learning experience with it, not just from it, but with it. You learn yourself, you learn another person, you learn how to deal with that person and the new person they become every day. Even
So,
though it's a challenge, you get challenges every day in your everyday life. If you just like back to the car, you get that car, it becomes a project. You keep working on that project.
As
that,
young people and millennials, like how long do you
hold
think
on, hold on,
like
hold on, hold on, brother. In that same instance, what's the worst thing that happens about a marriage?
I think her camera froze.
Yeah, I said camera froze.
Either that or somebody tried to call her or something. I do kind of want to address what Berto was saying a little bit earlier before you start asking those questions about how people change after they get married. It's okay. So it's not so much that a person changes as it is that they evolve. The problem with people when they get married is they see that as a change, and we're all constantly changing. But when you become married, it adds another title to you. So, Beast, you're a son. You know what I mean? Berto, you're a son. If y'all got a girlfriend and y'all a boyfriend too, when you get married, you add a new title to that. So I added husband. I have to learn how to be a husband.
Mhm.
And so that involves me evolving as a person. Some people aren't equipped to deal with that person after like they evolve into a husband or after they evolve into a wife. So when my wife began her evolution, certain aspects about her changed. The core person who I married is still there, but she's a much different person now than she was from the first day that we got married. And that's all because of the growth and the experiences that marriage provides.
Yeah, I was trying to say that's all positive, and I think
It ain't all positive, Peace. It ain't all positive, bro. They ain't all good changes. They're not all good evolutions.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But still, we trying. I think what me and Berto trying to find out is like, what are the core problems why marriage failed? You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure you guys have to brainstorm on those type of things to work on it to make sure y'all relationship don't fail. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be trying to find out why people be committing. You know what I'm saying? They spend all this money for a 2-hour party. You know what I'm saying? And then 3-4 weeks later, they divorce. You know what I'm saying? And
Like they hate each other, man.
or yeah, like these motherfuckers literally hate each other where they actually killing each other. You know what I'm saying? That husbands beating on their wife beating on her husband, like real shit.
I got an answer
Like,
for you.
I already know what Uni finna say, bro.
What I'm gonna say, cause I don't think you know this one. Go ahead.
Okay, no, you go, baby. I want you. You raised your hand first.
People walk into marriage with expectations. Don't expect anything. Don't get married for a show. Don't do none of that. We got married at the courthouse. As bad as I want to walk down the aisle and do all of that and have everybody celebrate with us, we're going to do that later, but I would never change how we got married. Ever.
when you say expectations, like, but I was saying you expect Roy to be your knight in shining armor, so it has,
I
that's an
expect Roy to be
expectation.
royal.
That's an
I expect
expectation.
Come on,
Roy to be
bro.
royal. Yes.
Yeah, no. See, Beast put words in her mouth. Like she said, she doesn't expect me to be a knight in shining armor. She expects me to be me.
And
That's
Roy
the
is my hero when he has to be.
yeah, I will be that. But to address one thing, that wasn't what I thought you were going to say. You know, when you was talking about one of the pitfalls of being married, or what was the question? I can't remember how you phrased it. How did you phrase that question, Beast? Because it was something very specific that came to mind when you said it.
That was high, bro.
Yeah. So you was talking about the expectations of being married, and it's kind of like, okay, so one of the things that happens is it's kind of like this perception when people get into these relationships. You be in a relationship for a long time, and then it's like, okay, I found the one, so this is how it's gonna be for the rest of my life. One of the things about expectation that you don't understand is that as soon as you get married, those expectations change. I think I mentioned this in the last one. Like, because you're married, because you believe you found the one, because you believe you found your partner for life, you think that they're supposed to get everything right. And that's not how a person operates.
Or they know every move you're supposed to make. So if you do this, then they're not supposed to get mad at that. Or they're supposed to know like where you're going with something. No, you have to explain it. You can't expect somebody to understand something just because they've been around you forever.
But listen, in a relationship, y'all doing your own thing individually, but y'all come together and practice a marriage. So I'll be trying to find out what's so different, what makes it different. Like,
when you're married,
yeah,
it's bro. It's
because if you still continue to growing and evolving, like that's something positive. Like I don't. You say it's not always positive, so you would have to give me an example where it's not positive or.
okay. Well, I'll give you an example then, and I probably shouldn't do this, but me and my wife have been arguing all day. Today, like before we jumped on this podcast, we have been arguing all day.
You sure you want to do this?
Sure.
We're doing
We
it.
don't
We're
have
doing it.
problems talking about
Okay,
stuff like
We
that.
don't have we don't have problems talking about our life because it's like, for the sake of the podcast, we want to be as transparent as possible with y'all. Like, we want y'all to understand what's going on, bro. Today is not a good day in our house, bro. It's just not. But it's kind of like we committed to doing this podcast, just like we committed to being in our marriage. So even if we are having a bad day, then just like this podcast, we still gonna be married.
Listen, I understand that, but I was saying, and from your perspective, from being married, why do other marriages fail? Like, because there's something
Because
that you're doing right that other marriages are not.
some people do goofy shit like marry for love. Like, marriage encompasses more than just loving the person and accepting and liking the way that they do things. It's about more than that. You're trying to build a life with somebody. And sometimes you have expectations for yourself, and you don't completely discuss those with the person that you think about marrying. Some people go into marriage saying, I just want to be married by this time, but not what type of person I want to be married to. How can this person help me build? And how can this person better me as a person? Once you get married, you start asking yourself, did I marry the right person? Well, no, you should have asked that question before you married them.
Mhm.
Like some people get mad at, like I remember exactly what I thought she was going to say. It's because you was talking about hate. They begin to hate people after they get married.
Mhm.
I made sure that my wife hated me before we got married. Like that's
For
just the
real.
reality. Yeah, that's the reality of the situation.
What?
I talked to my wife about this before we got married. Like
And
I
it
was like,
makes so much sense after you've been through the marriage part or
yeah,
are in
because
the
like
marriage.
it's like, bro, I'm finna do everything. Like I ain't trying intentionally to hurt you or nothing like that. But I'm not gonna hide any parts of myself so that you're confused about who I am. You're gonna take the good and bad of me during the relationship, so that when we get married and you begin to hate me, it's like, well, I mean, shit, I've been hating them. Like, what's next? Like, what else is there? like
It's like
I hate.
seeing people together for like 15, 20 years. You know they done been through enough to hate each other, but why aren't y'all married yet? I understand it's a contract with the government and everything, but it's like if y'all gonna be together that long, put the paper down and just sign it. Something.
But I think some people don't even care about the paperwork.
They don't. But some people also are scared to give up a lifestyle. So you got to understand, like some men are afraid to get married because in marriage, like you have to pay money to get out of that relationship. In
Yeah.
regular relationships, you have the option to leave and come and go as you please. So if she make you mad and that's like that instant when you feeling that, you can be like, okay, this is over and I can try it again. When you're married, bro, it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
this is
I'm
over,
mad.
but I
This
gotta come
over,
back to this
but
bed.
I got to come back home, bro, because I don't have nowhere else to go. Like, and then that forces you to kind of like talk and communicate and work on it and fix the shit that you're mad about, as opposed to just using your initial reactions to storm out of the house.
But let's be real. Don't most people that they after 3 days of meeting this person, they already move in with each other, right?
Exactly.
So
But
don't they
that's a
practice?
byproduct of the social media generation too. Everybody likes instant gratification, bro. It's kind of like you post a picture, you get likes in seconds. That's instant. That's the dopamine hit. People believe that marriage, like they attributed all of that stuff to their lives.
Mhm.
Everything that happens on social media is supposed to happen instantly. It's supposed to be perfect. When you look at social media and you look at relationships, the couples are always smiling. The
Mhm.
couples are always holding hands, doing something romantic. People believe that's
Until
supposed to
you
be
come to my page.
people believe that that's what you're supposed to do every day of a marriage and every day of a relationship. Like happily ever after is the worst set of words anybody ever associated with marriage. That you'll be happy most of the time, but all the time it's impossible to be that way, and it's impossible to expect another person to be that way.
So
And so you're go
as
ahead.
millennials, as millennials, you guys are young people. When do you think a person or people should decide to be married?
27 or better, or 26 or better.
Now this is coming from somebody who was 25 when she got married.
Listen. Me and God had a conversation. I had a specific date that I was going to be married by that you didn't know about. So
Or
that was
or how
different.
or I guess how long should a couple when they're
That's a
boyfriend and
better
girlfriend
question.
and they start off, how long should a couple wait to at least like get married?
That's also a very difficult question. So my wife and I, we dated for 4 years prior to getting married. But my wife's parents, how long they dated before they got married?
I think it was 6 or 7 months.
Like so I don't think it's so much of a timeline as it is just a mentality, bro. Like men
And your
usually
parents still
understand.
together? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
they
had an
married.
anniversary.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah. So most of the time, I don't think it's so much of a timeline as it is like a being prepared point. So for men particularly, you have to understand that you are ready to be married, bro. You can't just feel like you're ready to be married. You have to understand, because I believe marriage is inherently harder for men than it is for women. Women grow up idolizing and fantasizing about love, but most women,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Men don't. We idolize different stuff like video hoes and stuff like that. Like
And you got
that's
a
what
lot of
we.
dudes. You got a lot of dudes feel like they get pressured by their girlfriends like to get
Yeah,
married.
yeah. Once you're in a relationship for an extended period of time, like their mind, they've always been dreaming about a wedding day or something like that. So their mind is like, okay, I think I found the person that I can experience this with. I'm ready to experience it. As opposed to men, when we look at marriage, it's kind of like, this is the end, bro. All my hoeing days is over. I got to give up all my hoes for you. Like that. That's how men think of marriage, as opposed to women. Women think I found the one. Men think about what they have to give up, as opposed to like, yo, I'm never gonna find nothing like that again.
Now, do you think like since when like the coronavirus season, do you think the coronavirus had a positive effect on your marriage or a negative effect?
It's been more of a neutral effect, bro. To be honest with you, like it hasn't been positive or negative. Like
I think I think that what brother talking about, that shit's more for relationships. Like, well, I think more.
It's the same for marriage.
No.
Marriage, seriously, yeah, because marriage, yeah, I can see.
The reason why I say that, because I was watching something the other day. Like there was two celebrity couple. I think it was what's that dude named Boyos Kojo and Nicole.
Oh, Boris Kojo, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, him and his wife said some comment like, this is like the first time like he's at the house like every day, like all day, and she's getting like fed up with him. And I don't know if you heard how Kim Kardashian is like fed up with Kanye because he felt like Kanye is not doing like what a husband's supposed to do, watching the kids, take care of the kids. So they got to live in separate like sections of the house. So that's why I said like during the coronavirus, it kind of focused, I guess, families or couples to basically be around each other like 24 hours all day. So how's this coronavirus had a positive effect when you guys' relationship?
You want to go first, or you want me to go first, bro?
You can go first, bro.
All right, so pretty much, I think all of this stuff that they're talking about is actually taking place in my house. Like it's happened, bro. I'm home more often than not, or I'm home all the time now. We're all home together all the time. So yeah, she get aggravated with me, I get aggravated with her. There are other times where, because we have Lex, like we try and balance out the time, but there's literally no way to balance out time with a baby, bro, because like I should take him more or she should take him more. There's no accurate way to judge that, bro. Just being honest. And it does cause tension in the house from time to time. But I do believe, like, one of the things that I've said about being in the house during this quarantine is, like, I like the people that I'm quarantined with. Mm-hmm. Like, I like my wife. I like my daughter. I like my son, bro. So it's like, it makes it easier. Yes, they get on my nerves, bro, but it's just like any other family. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're mine. So I'd rather be here with them than with anybody else. I'm going to stop talking so that she can go ahead and get hers in.
You done said everything.
That's what's up, man. But what else did I have? What other question did I have for y'all? What advice would you give with a person like me and Berto, who's scared of, or who thinks about one day getting married?
Ask questions.
That's what they're doing.
Well, outside of a podcast, ask questions.
So
I think this forum is a good place to ask questions so that multiple people can get an answer to it. I guess my advice to people is, you're never going to be ready to get married. Like, people that I hear that phrase a lot, like, when did you know that you were ready for marriage? When I thought I was ready for marriage and got married, I realized after I got married that I wasn't ready for marriage. Like you're never going to be ready for that significant of a change in your life. It's kind of like people who having children. Like, you think you're going to be ready for your child. You can prep, you can buy all the nice little cribs and all that kind of stuff. But when
watch
that baby
all
get up
the YouTube videos.
Yeah, when that baby get up at 2:30 in the morning trying to eat, your body's not prepared for that. Like, that's and it's a similar effect with marriage. Like, look, you're just not going to be prepared for it. But if you love a person enough to work with them through everything, then you get married, bro. Me and my wife's marriage isn't based off of love. It isn't based off of money. It isn't based off of anything like that. Our marriage is based off of the fact that we both believe that no matter what situation comes in front of us, that we can work it out together. That's a baby. That's fighting. That's arguing. That's love the thing. Like, anything that you throw at us, that as a unit, that we have the ability to overcome that. And so we just build off of that. So when we get mad with each other, it's like, look, bro, if any two people can figure out how to get this shit resolved, me and you are the two people who can get it resolved. And so that's just kind of like how we work. That's just how we work.
That's dope. That's dope. Very dope.
Yeah, man. You know, brother about to get married in like a couple
I don't,
years.
I don't know about that.
You know,
I don't know about that.
Thinking about that already.
Berto the lover man.
You know what I'm
Berto the lover man out here,
saying?
man.
Hey, I don't know
You know
about
what I'm saying?
that. Hey, I'm just a
give
young guy. I'm just a young guy
about
trying to get advice from the old, the OGs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get married one time, do it right, because I'm not trying to get divorced. You know what I'm saying? Want to just do it
Yeah.
right the first time.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, like to be honest, like another thing, bro. There's no right or wrong way to be married either, bro. Like I think that we should just go ahead and throw that little misconception out the window too. Like, there's no proper ways to be married. Like you're married however you're married.
True, true.
Like me
yeah,
and my
man. I
wife were
want
saying
to
the
get
same
married
shit.
once.
Yeah, me too. Like I think that sentiment is the same across the board. But it's kind of like me and my wife was like that shit at the beginning. Like we thought like ain't shit gonna change when we get married. And maybe for like the first 2-3 months, like shit didn't change. And then shit changed. And then it was like, all right, bro, I want a divorce. Like I'm not. We are not ashamed to tell people that we have told each other on several occasions that we might need to get a divorce. And we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary in July.
Oh,
Like we ain't.
congratulations.
Thank you, but we
Thank
ain't been
you.
married 3 years and I talked about divorce a couple of times.
See, and
Yeah,
that's the scary part about it, bro. Like,
it's very scary. It's scary to think about it. Like I grew up the entire time saying that I only wanted to get married once, and then when I finally get married to the woman who I knew was like, this is the woman for me. When I finally get married, I'm the first ass talking about getting divorced. I'm the first. That's scarier than actually the conversation, bro. The fact that I
yeah,
believe that, like, I don't have enough in me to be able to stick it out and figure out what this problem is and try and fix it. That's all marriage is, bro. Marriage ain't so much about thriving as it is surviving. You got to survive marriage, nigga. You know, you you don't just keep being married and then end up like happily ever after. Like I said, bro, that shit don't exist. Like you just kind of survive your marriage, bro. Each day you got to fight for your marriage, bro. That's what they mean by fighting for your marriage, bro. You trying to survive.
Oh, okay. That's true.
Yeah, bro. You have no idea how many people will try and put stuff in your marriage that ain't even really there.
Now let me ask you a question. Like, since we're in the topic about marriage, do you let like outside interference affect your marriage? Like, as far as like, do your mother-in-law or father-in-law, or you let your friends influence your marriage?
Go ahead, baby.
Can I say it on this podcast?
you say
Of course.
anything
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want.
You can
The
say
whole
whatever you want.
podcast.
You can say whatever you want.
If you ain't sucking, fucking, or paying my bills, your opinion is not. It doesn't matter. I'll take it and maybe consider it, but it's not gonna sway whatever decision my house is gonna make.
Hey.
Miss on me.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing though. Like people think that that's just how she. Like, bro, you have to get there. That's not something that we both started out with because I have a mom, I have a dad, I got family and stuff who have huge impacts on my life and my decision making. So when they first start giving input on your marriage or relationship, and you're like, yeah, that's some good advice. I'm gonna try that. And then you go back to your shit and it don't work. It backfire on you. Like that's when you start to realize, like, maybe I shouldn't go outside of my marriage for advice. Maybe I should start in-house with whatever the problem is. Maybe I should start discussing it in-house first, see how she feels about it, and then try and form my thinking around that, as opposed to letting somebody else tell me how I should handle my situation. Like we had to get there, bro. That was a process. That wasn't just automatic.
That wasn't a
bro.
click.
Nah, that didn't click for a while, bro. It was like a
did,
year into our marriage.
did you guys talk about how you guys are gonna raise your son?
Like
I know,
parenting.
yeah,
What
about
kind of parent you
parenting.
guys? What kind of parents you guys are going to
And I
become?
asked that question because you got to see him as a father before, you know what I'm saying, you guys had a kid. So did that play a role in like how y'all talk about parenting y'all son?
Yeah, it made me feel better, like to know that he already had a little bit of experience. But
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like we're both starting from scratch with this one because they're 13 years apart. So it's
Right.
not like he really kept all of that together the whole time. Like you forget a lot of things in 13 years.
For real. Like as far as talking about parenting together, no, we didn't. We did talk about parenting together, but not enough. Like, but it's kind of it harkens back to the core of our
Marriage.
it harkens back to the core of our marriage, bro. If we clash on how we should parent Lex, but at the end of the day, we will figure it out.
Mhm.
It's like because that's what we do. Like we will work it out together, bro. At the end of the day, it's gonna be some compromise on both sides. But from the beginning of our marriage, we've learned how to do that with each other. No matter what the circumstance is, bro, I understand that in every situation, I have to give something and I have to take something. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I have to take some of the crap that she gonna do. Like spoil it. Like we all men, so you know how we want to be with our little boy. Rough.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you play football
Uh-huh.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run your head into this wall and see how
Yeah.
you. But but I have to understand that she's a mother.
Mhm.
She's a first-time mother, and
Mhm.
she's not the same type of person as me. You know my wife, Berto. You don't. But my wife is my wife is one of those ray of sunshine people where she's like, you know, she's a nice person, bro. She's a very nice woman. And so she has that motherly instinct where she wants to kiss on them and hold on them all the time. And I
Yeah.
have to allow that to go down
Yeah.
sometimes, just like she has to allow me to rough them up a little bit.
Yeah, cause Lex ain't gonna be soft right here.
You know what I'm saying?
All
That
right,
boy already got a hard head.
So I'm trying to tell you. But he's bro sleep now, bro. He's knocked out.
Wow, he's way out of there.
bro,
What?
out there in the fucking.
But wrap it up, bro.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate you guys for joining us, discussing with us, about the life as a married couple. Did you guys want to give out your social media platform? Or did you guys want to mention anything?
Yeah, I know, Royal. Shout out your little podcast.
Oh, you talking about the Struggle Mills podcast?
You
Yeah,
know,
Struggle Mills
man.
podcast. It comes. We record it once a week. We check us out on Facebook. We on Twitter. We on YouTube. We have our own Facebook page, so you can go there, like, subscribe, share all that kind of stuff. Make sure y'all. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Big Zoe podcast,
You
not
know
on
what
the
I'm
upcoming one,
saying?
but I shout out Big Zoe podcast on the on next week's show.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, man, because it's like my third or fourth time being on here, bro.
Yes, sir. What about you, Mrs. TikTok?
TikTok is canceled.
Cancer.
So I'm only on Instagram now.
All
Eunice
right.
J913.
All right, man. Y'all follow me at Beast on the Beat on Instagram.
And y'all follow me at Big Zo Podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we appreciate you guys for joining us, man. And holla at your
Yes, sir.
boys, Big Zo.